Alright, this is my 2005 F-250, and we had problems with the bed on it. It started sagging and kind of spreading apart. So decided that in the long run it'd probably be better just to put a flatbed on it. And so a couple of Amish neighbors and I got together and we designed and built this one. It's held on by 8 bolts to the frame, and that way I can take it loose, and if I get a different truck I can put it on that. I've got a couple features here that I like that I don't see very often. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen them. One, normally when I see a store built or shop built commercial flatbed, they've got the filler neck right here. Well, I figure that's going to be in the way, so what I did was I took a piece of 6-inch pipe, about a 2-inch section of it, and then we have a flat piece here that the filler neck comes through, and it's tilted to the back, so we have a little bit of fall so we can fill, easily, and that gets it down there, and it's a nice clean look there instead of up in the way. Another thing that I did, I used just scrap pieces of strap here, and I made these stake pockets and these rails a little bit wider than normal. These are 2.5 inch, and it's also 2.5 inch down. But I found out that the new straps that you can buy with the J hooks, they're just bent just awkward enough where they won't go down through some of the rails on a commercial flatbed. So these are wider, and also they're wider this way so I can drop it down and bring it up and hook it. If this is any shorter, they won't hook. When you go to pull tension on the strap, it'll pull it loose. And another thing that I did, I've got the LED lights here, of course, but all the commercial flatbeds I've seen, this is just wasted space. So I figured, well, I'll just make it into a toolbox. I'll put a door on that hinges down, and I can put straps and a chain or tools, anything in there, and that takes up some space that otherwise would be unused. Now, we also used, this is the original headache rack that we had when we got the pickup, and we had to kind of modify it a little bit, put in a filler piece, and all we did was built this lower frame instead of the whole thing. Figured, well, we have it, why build it? So I'll have to grind some, and of course I've got some painting and everything to do. And I also want to put some expanded metal in here to protect this glass, and then I've got a piece of metal to put in here. Another thing I have to do is build a cover for that, the gooseneck ball. And I'm not sure if I want to or not, but I thought about putting a skirt just from this lower corner on up to here or somewhere, just to make it a little cleaner look. But it's bolted onto the bed or onto the frame with 8 bolts, and that way I can take it loose, and if I get a new truck I can put it on that truck, or I can just put it on anything that matches up. And also I put a wood floor on here. A lot of these commercial beds you'll see with a metal deck, and for what I'm using it for, I'm not going to be using it for welding or anything like that. So with a metal deck, if something happens, you have to get a big dent, you drop something on it, there's damage, you have to replace a whole section. Where this, if something happens to one of these boards, then I just take the board out. There's 4 bolts, and then I just replace the board. But I've still got some things to do. There's some welds here that I have to finish. There's the door, of course, there. I've got a lot of grinding here. These are a little sharp grinding and painting, and of course the door, like I said, there, and the piece of plate there. And that will be about it. There's probably a couple little things I'm not thinking of, but when I checked on commercial flatbeds, they were between $2,000 and $4,000 for a decent one, and I've got probably $300 in this, including labor and parts and everything. So I think it's come out pretty good. And as soon as I get some side rails on here and finish the rest of the stuff, then it'll be done.